Hey, Dale, welcome. Welcome to the twining class. Are you there? Can you talk? Actually, to be honest, Dale, you're the only one in here so far. It's just you and me. Can you talk?
There we go.
Hey,
Okay.
hey, it's just you and me.
Oh, well, that's kind of nice for a chance.
One of the other gals wrote to say that, oh, here's Kat. Okay. One of the other ones wrote to say she can't come, but, right. Okay. We're starting to get.
And I have to confess that my life is really in a whirligig. And Carol, I haven't done anything in so long. I had to go back and remember how to warp a loom. And
Oh,
just
see.
so I am
You're
I
back.
I am now ready. I've got my regular ups and downs. And so I'm working on the first week.
Yes. I strongly recommend don't dig in too deep. Start where you're at. Start with that basic interlinking stitch,
Yeah.
and then we'll do this fancy stuff once you've gotten that back
Yeah. But
again.
I needed to remember how to effectively warp a loom.
Oh dear. Now there
I,
was a video on that web page. Did that help you at
yeah,
all?
yeah, no, but I mean, it's just the mechanics of, um, it
Right.
used to be so easy, and now now
Yeah.
I've just got to figure out and remember. you know Luckily the basics I still do remember, so now I've done some of that, and now
Okay.
I'm back to okay, I'm ready
Excellent.
to
Excellent.
start
All
this.
righty. Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad. Well, and I'm glad that you this was the impetus for you to get back into it. Hooray.
Yes,
But
yes.
you're not the only person. There's several people have told me that there must be something in the ozone that it's a real crazy time for a lot of people.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
see that Kat did join us. Yay. How is Kat doing? Welcome back to Sprang class, to the twining class.
And she's muted too
Oh,
also.
There, how's that?
excellent. Yes, I can hear you now. And I
All
did
right.
see briefly, hold that up again. Ooh, hooray. Nicely done. You've gotten it to move back out to the sides and back again, and then cross.
And cross.
Hooray. Excellent. Well done. Well
So
done.
I did some bigger ones, but they're a little I was riding the bus instead of fetching a friend, but I think I've got it.
Yep.
This was nice and tidy. So this is my show off piece.
Excellent. Well done. Well done.
Thank you.
Yes, it does take a while to get that straight in your head. And I find myself often in the middle of it, wait a minute, which one am I going? Which is why people wanted me to have little arrows on the chart. And you have to, yeah.
Right.
Right.
But I had fun. Thank you.
And were there any other challenges that you noticed, or?
One of the things I was trying to do, because I always run out of warp before class is over, was do a circular warp with multiple colors, and I could not figure out how to do that.
Yeah, okay. A lot of things you can do just fine with circular warp, but not this. There is another little class that I teach about circular warp with color, because there are some things with circular warp, there's some funny little rules, and this kind of a thing is one of those where there's funny little rules, and there's an extra little thing that you need to do to make that work with circular warp.
So that's probably why I couldn't find it.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, the thing is that the twining threads, you wrap the background colored threads, and then those twining threads need to be wrapped separate and attached
So
to
it's
themselves.
like a supplemental warp.
Exactly. It's a supplemental warp. But then, where does your cross go? How did that, to completely hide? Yeah, there's a class that I teach on circular warp and color that talks about that, as well as a couple other issues of, yeah. Right. Yes.
Things to look forward to.
Absolutely. Yes. 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 I'm glad that that worked for you. I'm glad. I'm glad. Let's see. And there's two other people that should be joining us, but who knows? I'm thinking that we could just jump into the topic to give you plenty of time to play with this. There are two topics that I have added to this class. Used to be when I teach twining, I teach you how to go to the left, go to the right, how to cross, done. But there are a couple other issues that I have found. One of them is the last couple of years since COVID, somebody had put me onto these bonnets. Okay, let's do it this way here with my now let's see, Carol, I can do it like this, and I can then spotlight for everyone. Okay. Bonnets from medieval times. And they have given me to explore this technique that I call vertical twining. When you work a vertical pair of threads, you tend to have a little bit of a jog. And there are a number of these depictions where we have a really smooth vertical line. And there is a bonnet from ancient Egypt that I have found that also has that kind of work in it, and had made me explore, how do we get twining to happen on a vertical line, where we don't have that little jog. And that's what this is. And that is what this first handout talks about. It's going to talk about how to get that vertical line going. And I've got a video. This is the introduction. What we're going to do is we're going to do twining. Twining means two. We've got pairs of threads that have kind of an exclusive relationship, and they're set within this interlinking structure. The background is this interlinking structure. And then within that, we've got these pairs of threads that have this exclusive partnership traveling along. They have to somehow interact with that background, but they've got this exclusive relationship, and they're traveling vertically, not to the right, not to the left. They're going, straight with respect to the selvages. Okay. This is a totally different class of things. And then the other thing we're going to talk about is when we get things to disappear to the back side, completely disappear. And for weavers' terms, it's a double cloth, but they sneak to the back side. That's the second hour. But the first hour, we're talking about this, moving these threads vertically, what I call vertical twining. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the video. And then if you have your warp all set up, ready to go, then we'll do it together. That's the plan. Okay. Questions? No. Hang on a minute. The movie is, I've got the movie here somewhere. There it is. Let's see, share screen. My daughter isn't going to be with us today. She's got other engagements. And indeed, the thing is, I should be able to do this, huh?
Right.
Share.
We have confidence.
Okay. Now, I think the funny thing is this one, I must have filmed funny. Is it vertical? Yeah, it's all right. Here we go. Illustrations of people from the 1500s. I'm thinking that these represent vertical twining. And let me show you how I think you do it. This is a piece of spring with vertical lines. You can see there's no jog in these lines. There's a pair of lavender colored threads that has the same partner, and they travel in a vertical line. How does this happen? That's what I'm going to show you. There are two rows that alternate, and the first row we're going to talk about is the plate row, the row that offsets the pairs, the row that starts with this stitch of 3 threads. Then I work over until I've got this situation here. There is a thread that needs to have a partner, and that partner, it doesn't want to have a contrasting color partner. The partner is going to come from way over here. It's going to be this thread. This is going to be the partner thread. So you're saying that's just a regular fetch a friend stitch, which gives you then the line traveling to the left. But we want to avoid the line traveling to the left. So I bring a partner thread through like this. That's a fetch a friend. And then I take this thread, and he travels to the left side of the twining pairs. They go down the middle of those twining pairs, you see. So I've worked this background vertical twining stitch, and then I'm going to twine these two, pick up, put down. All right, now I have 4 threads, 2 in front and 2 in back, and I have found that to make it easier on the next row, this thread is going to go to the back, so I've got back, back, and front threads. That's 2 stitches. I call it the vertical twining complex.
The friend goes to the back, and the traveler is up in front.
And then I work stitches over until we get to the same situation once again. Once again, I have this lone background colored thread who needs a partner. I'm going to reach between these 2 contrasting colored threads. I'm going to fetch the back thread from over here. I bring it over to be the partner, and this lone thread, he travels through to the other side. And then, let's see.
The friend here goes to the back. I do pick up, put down, and the traveler comes to the front.
So I have back thread, front, back, front. And then I work to the end of the row. I lost my shed there. Up, down, down. And that's what we've got. Okay, push everything down, put in a safety string, put in my chopsticks. And now row 2 of this set resets the pairs, and there's something odd that happens. I work stitches over. Whoop, now you have to be careful. That's not the partner. I'm going to take this one first, up, down, and now I'm to these 2. I'm just going to pass these 2 across. These 2 contrasting colored threads go from my left hand to my right hand just for nothing, and then I work up, down, up, 2. Now here, let's see, we need to survey the situation, make sure you catch the correct next thread. Work this pair and then this pair. And now once again, let's look and see what we've got. These 2 twining threads, contrasting colored threads, I'm just going to pass them from one hand to the other without doing anything, and then I finish the row. 1, 2, 3, and 4.
This is the manner in which I indicate those stitches on a chart. The squiggles that you see is my way to try to help you understand that thread on the right of the contrasting color thread moves over to the left, and it fetches a friend from the left, brings it over to the right.
Let's do those 2 rows again, watching the pattern so you can see how this works. We have this right edge stitch, then 2 plain stitches, and then we have that complex here. Pick up, take this to the other side.
The friend goes to the back. I pick up, put down the twining stitch, and the traveler is in front.
Then I work 1, 2, 3 plain stitches. Then we have that complex again. So I'm going to go like this, bring this one through.
The friend goes to the back. I work the twining stitch, and the traveler is in front.
And the end of the row. There we are. Mash everything down, put in the safety string, put in the chopsticks. And then the overplate row. 2, 3, 4 stitches. And then this one isn't really a stitch, it just passes across. 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches. That's not really a stitch, it just passes across. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Vertical twining lines. You know, it looks really dicey. It looks scary, but it's not. We're just going to take it one at a time and hold things apart so you can tell who comes next, which thread. We'll take it slow, we'll take it easy, and you know what? We'll work our way through one stitch at a time. and it all makes sense. It's not so bad, not really so scary. So, let's see, I have my warp here. So now what Carol needs to do is Carol needs to replace the spotlight and, okay. I have to confess, I lost track of time this afternoon. All of a sudden this 2 o'clock snuck up on me. And since my daughter isn't on here. All right. So, and I don't have her telling me, you guys, okay, you guys, your job is if I go off screen, you have to tell me I'm off screen. Okay. So the thing is, if we work this regular interlinking sprang, pick up, put down that initial row, threads twist around their immediate neighbor, and we have the same color threads in each and every stitch, and you need to watch and make sure that we have the proper partners here. So for Dale, this is, yeah, the initial row, and there's a bead, 1 bead up and the other bead down the end of every row. Mash things down, put in a safety string, and put in the chopsticks. Okay, and on a normal plate row, let's pick up, oops, off screen. Pick up 2, put 1 down, and we work across like this. Yes? And here we have a stitch with 2 colors of thread, 2 colors of thread, 2 colors of thread. Okay, on the video, it had only 1 contrasting colored thread. We're going to have 2, and it works the same way as 1. And it's so that we can get to the next thing as well, the working behind. Okay, and the overplate row, you can't start this on an overplate row, just like what we did last week. You have to start this on a plate row, the overplate row where they have the same color partners. That's just not the place where we do this twining, because they're already twining. These contrasting colored threads already have this exclusive relationship. So that's nothing new. What is new is to have them have that exclusive relationship on the plate row. That's where the interesting things happen. Okay, so what I did is I printed out the sheet, and what I'm wanting to do is we have the step-by-step kind of instructions on this sheet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to jump here and I'm going to follow the chart, and we're going to start on this plate row, row 3. Oh, let's see, this initial row, and then 1 is considered a plate row. Row 2 is the overplate row. We're going to start on this row here, and we're going to work. And what I tell people to do, I tell people what you might want to do is cover up everything underneath, because otherwise it's confusing. What goes on down here don't make any difference. What happens here, we start with this stitch, you know what this one is. You know what these 3 stitches are. Here you've only got kind of half a stitch, and you're thinking, what in the world? And the squiggles up above are supposed to tell you that this thread comes from over here, and that this part here goes to over there. So that's the plan. That's what we're going to do. We're going to work row 3. Let's put that to the back so we can see in the background. Can we see in the background? Slide it over a little bit more there, Carol. That's our plan. That's what we're going to be doing. And we're going to do that together. Okay, Carol, you just covered it up with your hand. So if we go like this, that better? That's row 3. That's what we're going to do. Right edge stitch. And then we work 3 that are regular. 1, 2, 3. Maybe I'll move my camera. Maybe that'll help. There we are. Okay, now what goes on here? Well, I said we're going to do a fetch a friend from over here. Fetch a friend, and then this guy is a traveler. They crisscross in between those threads that are going to be twining. And then we're going to work an up, down, up, down. But then just to keep everybody straight, I said this guy is going to go to the back. So we have back, front, back, and the traveler is a technically a front thread. Is that clear? You want me to do that again? We will do it over again here. 1, 2, 3 plain stitches. 1, 2. Oh, look at that. I've only got 3. I should have had 4 here in the middle. Ah, I set up wrong. All right. Crisscross through. This one is in the back, front, back, front, back, front, and then 2, 3, 4. Okay.
Nope.
Question. Yes.
So I've got my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 threads in front. This is color A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 threads in back.
Yes.
I have my twined color B, my twined color C,
Yeah.
and I have the friend I've carried on top.
Yes. The fetch a friend. The fetch a friend here is at the back,
Yes,
and the traveler guy is in front.
yes.
Yes.
But when I start going across, the first thread I pull over from behind is going under 3 threads.
Yes. Yes.
instead
Yes.
of-
Yes. It does. Yes. It does. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Because in the video we had only 1 pair of contrasting color threads, and here we've got 2 pair.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Excellent point. Yes. Now the other thing I need to do, I need to put in 1 more pair of threads there because all right, I made a warping error. I did not put in the correct number of threads here. I apologize.
We have 5, 2, 4, 2, 5.
That's correct. That's correct. And you know what? I just looked and saw the email that I sent said something about 15 to 15, then 1, 1, 1, 4, 1, some idiotic crazy thing. Sorry.
So when I do my stitches across, I end up with 2 top threads going into the twining stitch.
Yes.
Carol, it's a good thing you made a mistake.
Yes.
Yes, because you can show us how to fix a mistake without redoing the whole thing.
Well, okay. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put in another thread here. I'm putting in another thread. All right, and then I need to kind of sneak back to that place. This is that initial row, and then the plate row, and then that overplate row. Okay, and mash that all down. And let's see. I undid part of this. One, 2, 3, 4. These 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. There we go. Okay. So now here, this is the correct setup. I have 5 loops and then 2 of the contrasting color A, B, C, then 4 color A, then color B, C, then 5A. 5, 1, 1, 4, 1, 1, 5. That's what
Right.
we're supposed to do. Yes. Okay. Then proper row 3, In the video, we had only one pair of contrasting colored threads, and here we have two, and two makes a more visible vertical line. And the other thing is I wanted to do these little diamonds and come back, and we have to have four threads, two pairs, so that one pair goes to the right, the other pair goes to the left. So we doubled that up. Does that make sense? Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. So row 3 here, 1 right edge stitch, then 3 plain stitches. Right edge stitch, then 1, 2, 3, and then this fancy stitch. And this fancy stitch, what happens is this guy needs a partner. I reach over here to find it, fetch a friend. It's a fetch a friend stitch. But here we've only got part of a stitch. That stitch happens in and around between the two contrasting colored threads. So pick up, and yes, he does come under 1, 2, 3. And then the traveler stitch goes across, and they crisscross between these contrasting colored threads. And now to cut to the chase, this friend that I fetched, he's going to be at the back. And then we do a, whoops, pick up, put down, pick up, put down. And the traveler thread, the guy who was on the bus, ends up being in front. And that keeps everything here straight. It keeps things from getting out of order. And it's also the correct setup for the next row. All right, that's what I call this vertical twining complex, that set of stitches. Then we work with 3 plain stitches. That's 1, 2.
And that's where I'm off somehow.
How are you off? You don't have 3 plain stitches there in the middle?
I have 3 plain stitches in the middle, but then I'm left with
1 thread.
2. I'm left with 2 on top.
Are you on this row, this plate row?
Yes.
We have 4 loops in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay, we have this twining stitch. Here's the friend, fetched friend, these 2, and the traveler.
Right.
And then we have 1, 2, 3 plain stitches, and we have 1 left over here.
1, 2, 3 plain stitches, and I end up with 2 on top.
Well, yes, there's 2 on top, yes. One of them is the partner here. And the other one is a thread who doesn't have a partner yet. He needs to be making a stitch.
I end up with 2 unpartnered threads. I'm going to try that one section one more time.
Yeah.
So my friend that rode the bus is on top. So when, I don't know if you can see this, when I pull the next below thread over, it's going under 3 threads.
Yes, this one here. When you pull this one over, hang on a second, let's get
No, after that. After all the twining.
this one here comes under 3.
Right?
And you're okay here in the very center?
I am. No.
Oh, okay. Oh,
no,
right.
no, it's the center I'm having trouble with.
The center, this business in here?
Yeah, that bit is in there.
Okay. And we have 4 loops at the top of the
We
contrasting
do.
color. All right.
Yeah.
Then there's something very odd happening. Let's do that row again. I'm thinking that I didn't put in my chopsticks. All right, let's go back where we were. All right, look, to make sure, at the start of this row, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 background color stitches.
Yes.
And then we have these 2 contrasting colors. Yes.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4 background color.
2, 4.
And then 1, 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then there should be 5 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's all good.
Okay. All right. So now working this row here, we'll get this eventually. Right edge stitch, then 1, 2, 3.
Correct?
And then we have one background colored thread who needs a partner.
Right.
And he's going to get the partner from way over here.
So we pull that one over first, right?
Pull that one all the way over first.
Okay.
And he doesn't stay here. He doesn't stay here. He goes to the other side. So we've got this stitch that happens in between and behind these two contrasting colored threads.
So the friend that I just fetched
The fetched friend.
is going to go to the back,
Yes, he goes to the back.
and the friend that goes on the bus to the other side ends up on the top.
Yes. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 threads in front and 3 in back left over here of the background color. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, with these 4 in the front, we can do 1, 2, 3 stitches, and there's 1 left over.
No, every time I do that, I get 1, 2, 3 stitches with 2 left over.
That just makes sense. And you're sure
It doesn't.
we've got 4 loops here at the top. Did
Yeah.
you start, this is starting on a plate row.
Yeah.
Where's that other, you need to send me a picture of this. Do you have a phone? Do you have something you can take a picture and send me a picture of this?
Well, I could do it where you can see it.
Yes, I want to see close up. Let's see. Can I?
Can you see it from the back?
Okay, now hold it down. Let's see. All right, let's see. Yeah, all right, now.
So
Okay.
here's my overplate row. Looks good. Now this one's going to go under the 2 color, and this one comes
Yeah,
from the other side.
uh-huh,
This one is going to go to the back. This one comes over to the front.
yeah.
Then I do my
That
first color, my second color.
one. Uh-huh.
But
Okay.
now,
Okay, now that guy that came to the front, you have to take him over to your left hand. He's done. That thread needs to go over to your left hand.
oh,
There you go. Okay,
Okay.
now work 3 stitches. Is that what it was? 1,
that's what it was.
2, okay. 2 and 3. All right, I'm glad we got that figured out. Okay, now we have just 1 thread left over.
Yes.
Yes, excellent. Okay.
Okay,
Oh, we've got that figured out.
we did.
Let's see. Maybe what I can do. No, that's not what I want. I want to spotlight this here. This is why I need my daughter, but that's okay. We're doing fine. Okay, I'm thinking what happened there, because maybe there's somebody else out there on the internet who's going to have the same problem. And let me try to replicate what I saw there. I'm thinking the problem was that we did this stitch here, this complex. This is down, up, down, and we said this is up. And then I'm thinking what you were doing was
That's exactly what I did. That's what I meant by saying it went under 3 threads.
Okay. And I'm thinking that this one here does kind of go under 3.
Right.
This down, up, down. And then this guy he's done with.
Okay.
He's already had his turn. So we're going to put him into the hand with the done pile in the, you know what? And I'm thanking you for persevering. And there's probably somebody else out there who has the same confusion. Okay, clears that up. He's done. And he doesn't have another turn. That was his turn. So now we're going to work 1, 2, 3 stitches here. And then we're going to do that same weird complex. This guy.
And it worked
Yeah.
just fine.
Okay, comes through, and this guy goes to the other side on the bus. This guy, we're going to put him at the back, and we do front, back, and this guy's in the front, and now he's done. So he's in this hand because he's done. And then we work to the end. Excellent, excellent. Up and then 1 up, 2 down. That's the plate row, and that is done. That is this row right here. And now on the next row, there's a funny thing. On this chart here, we've just got this empty space there. I'm not sure how to make this clear. What happens on the row after that, we work stitches, and then these two, nothing happens to them. They just get a free ride. Indeed, I'm thinking in some of these pieces, the vertically traveling threads are a thicker thread, and the uptake is different than it is the background colored threads. In a minute, I will go fetch out those samples and show you that that's getting ahead. We need to know how to do this. Row 4, pick up, put down, pick up, put down, pick up, put down. You'll see why this makes sense. Now, you might want, when you get here, these threads tend to misbehave. And what you need to do is see how this stitch here crosses in between. That's the back thread. That's the partner with this one. Don't let them jump ahead of their turn. Then these two just go from left to right for nothing. And we have this front thread, which, yeah, partner, up, down, up, down, up, down. Getting close to this business here. It's a good idea to take this all and hold it out, manipulate it until you can see this stitch crossing through on that previous row. Yep. So that nobody jumps ahead of his turn. And we have 4 stitches here in the middle. And then these two go across just for nothing. And then we work to the end of the row. 5 stitches. 4, 5. Is that clear?
Yep.
Okay, I want you to do that a couple more times. Work this row 3, 4, row 3, 4, or 5, 6, do that pair of stitches, pair of rows, several times over until you start feeling comfortable with it. It seems to take a lot of words to describe how this works. It's really a rather simple set of maneuvers, but we have to have class because it might be kind of complicated. This guy comes over, that guy goes there, he's down, up, down, and this guy is up. Yeah, up, down, up, down, up, down. We crisscross through. This is down, up, down, up, and we work to the end of the row. Next row, just the way it works, is that these two pass across for nothing. How's that working?
Good.
Yay. You're getting these nice vertical lines.
I am. And
Hooray.
I did a few rows before class to get the interlinking set so you can really tell the difference between the
Oh,
jaggedy rows and the straight rows.
excellent. Excellent. Hooray. I'm glad. Excellent. All right. Then is it time to take a break?
I'm good. I don't know who else is here.
It's you and Dale, and I think the others are joining us later from the video.
Right.
The other thing I wanted to talk about is how to get things to disappear at the backside. That's the other.
Right. And I have enough warp left here to do several
Excellent.
diamonds.
Excellent. That's this other handout. I'm thinking you can stand up and walk around, take a break. We will do, when we come back, we're going to talk about this, how this works. Right. I think you know how to do the first part of this. Let's see. It starts off with that stitch that is, what do we call it? Traveler meets a friend stitch. And they move further apart and they come back together, come meet up again. And this is the thing that is new. The new material is row 8 and 9, where that goes to the back side. Hey, right? That's what I'm going to show you.
Okay.
Moving threads to the back side and then bringing them back, returning them to the front again. So on row 8, these threads are hidden at the back side and they can stay at the back side for however long. And then how we reintegrate them, bringing them back into the front, returning them to the front.
All right.
Okay, let's take a 5-10 minute break. We'll come back on the hour and we'll do that. You need to stand up and move around because otherwise you don't
I know
realize
we get all
you've been
bent.
hunched in and concentrating and then whoo, I need to move around. Okay. Let's
Okay.
yeah, Carol,
Carol?
we need to replace
Wait,
yes.
Carol,
Okay,
I'm
Don.
sorry.
Yes, Di. Yes,
stuff is
Dave.
going around here in the background, and I'm just gonna have to catch up everything when you put out the video. We've
Okay.
got a couple things that we've got to take care of.
Okay. All righty.
So
Okay.
much-
All right. Well, then, Kat, that puts the onus on you to ask all the good questions. So
To
far,
make
you've
sure
done-
your answers are there
Thank you for
the
being our fearless leader, Kat. Bye-bye. Thank you.
okay, Dale. All right. It's
Okay.
easier for me to talk to a real person. Yeah. They've
Yeah.
suggested that I put these things online and just post them, but well, I made the videos, but actually talking people through, it's really helpful to have a live person there.
Well, like that one little stitch was so easy to miss.
Well, I would have never have thought of that, but that is something that needs to get included in the instruction because that.
It's like, how many mistakes can a person really make?
Well, I tried to head off the top the couple of them. I'm hoping that I have made them, but sometimes I don't realize. And A friend of mine says, Carol, once you get to be an expert, you have disqualified yourself from being able to teach beginners because it's just so blinking obvious to you, which is why I need to allow for questions, allow this live, real people who have,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And then it's a whole lot more clear for everybody else because you asked that question. Thank you.
And it's hard for you to guess how many different ways it can go wrong. I mean, we each have to come up with our own way of doing it wrong for you to catch them all.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, stand up, move around, go have a drink of water,
Will do.
and we'll come
See
back.
you in a few minutes.
Okay. All righty.
Top of the hour?
Yeah.
All right.
All righty.
See you in a sec.
All right.
Hello.
Hey, are you back?
I am. Fresh cup of coffee.
Yay.
Let the dog out.
Okay. I neglected to mention earlier, I wanted to show you this. Bonnets, these sprang bonnets, this vertical twining, and this here it's a thicker yarn, and it makes kind of a ridge. And I'm thinking about that. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to share a screen. There is this document I have been working on. I visited with Dagmar Drinkler. She's a curator at this museum in Munich, Germany. And she was preparing an exhibition of hats. And she has done a fair bit of research, and they're thinking that, okay, the exhibition she didn't have this many of them, but looking through paintings, these are paintings from the 1500s, and they're thinking that these are sprang hats. And her exhibition included her replica of this one. This is a very, very wealthy woman, Barbara Schellenberger. Okay, now I know who this is. Hang on, how come that's got question marks there? This is a document I'm preparing. Different ways to make bonnets, different ways to make the hats. I'm going to eventually publish this about different ways to make these hats. And then I go through these bonnets and talk about how they could be made. This could be this doubles grid, but now the bonnet that we want to talk about, how to put this together. The bonnet we want to talk about is from this book that was published in 1560. This guy was an accountant, a very wealthy accountant. He was an accountant for an exceedingly wealthy man. And here's he must have been a fancy dresser because he had somebody make drawings of his outfits and then he published them in a book.
That was really thoughtful of him.
Yes, it is. Well, and this is a portrait of him in the Louvre. And he's got this very large hat and he's got this something underneath the hat. And in this book here, it's called a caul, C-A-U-L.
Right.
A hair underneath. I first became aware of this because there was a museum in Augsburg was preparing this exhibition based on this book. They were making outfits that could have been the originals behind this. They were kind of reverse engineering the drawings. And they were a little bit bejiggered by what's on his head here. And the gal at the museum contacted me because they're thinking this is sprang. And they made this is what from the exhibit, photo from the exhibit. But Carol speculates how that hat is made. And then ba-ding. I am thinking those how do you get vertical lines? If you have a single pair of threads, it makes this broken line. If you have two loops, 4 threads, then you have a line with a jog in it. But if we have vertical twining, then you get this smoother line, which is more in line with what they're depicting here, a smoother line. And the other thing I find out is there's a difference in uptake. And if you make these threads are a heavier yarn, then I'm thinking the purpose of this hat here, he's got this very large brimmed hat that needs to sit on the side of his head. To get that large brimmed hat to stay on the side of your head, you want to have
staples.
You need it, yes, staple, or a large hat pin, and you need that pin to pin into something. And if you don't have very much hair, it might be a good idea to have a hair net underneath. And I'm thinking that if the ridges sit up higher, it's easier to pin into.
Right.
Sense. I'm thinking just trying to make a reason for having these heavier ridges, thicker ridges. But anyhow,
well, and if you have really fancy string, like a gold thread, that would be cool too.
Yeah. Well, and here I talk about how to do that. See, if you have only a single thread, it gets this broken line. If you have two threads, it gives you a joggy line.
Mhm.
But the twining, that vertical twining that I just showed you, gives you much more
Uh-huh.
solid line. And if these pink threads are a thicker yarn than the background color yarn, then it gives you this thicker ridge. That's what I'm thinking. The background for why I played around to try to figure out how to do this. And let's see, let's highlight my phone. There we are. So I have a thinner yarn and a much thicker yarn. Now maybe I should have done these more frequently. Yeah, anyhow, right. That's what I'm thinking for that hat. Yeah,
So is that wool on linen?
it's all wool. This is a
All wool.
thinner wool, and this is like a worsted wool.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the band that goes across, yeah. Is that also sprung?
It could be here. I did an inkle loom kind of a thing.
Right.
The Egyptian bonnets all had these bands, and some of them were tablet weaving. Some of them were sprang, interlinking sprang done this direction. And some of them were like a plain weave kind of thing, like an inkle loom sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them were like braids, like a 3-strand, 8-strand braid. All different kinds of things. But the Egyptian bonnets I've seen live. I've seen in museums, the hats. We don't have any of these bonnets from the 1500s in any collection that I know of. So what I'm doing is I'm just going on the pictures, trying to reinvent from the pictures. But that's the background for what we did last hour. What we did this hour, what we're going to do this hour are things from Egyptian. Let's go back to, okay, the outfit that I'm wearing is based on bonnets from collections from ancient Egypt. And these kind of designs I have seen in museums, and I'm trying to replicate, and that's what I'm trying to show you in. So here we have these little dots. Okay, now we can put this shirt up on the table, and then we can go like this. Replace spotlight. All right. So we have this design here, the red zigzags. You know how to do the zigzags. And then we have these little these yellow threads that appear and disappear down the middle.
Yeah.
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 Okay. That is the same design as what's this thing here. Yeah. This is just bigger. So the thing is, you know how to do these red lines, diagonal.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You know how to make a diamond out and back, but like there's a couple rows where there's no yellow. Whoops, what happens there? And that's what we're talking about here. And there was a handout that talks about this, how to work this. And the picture shows you the right side and the wrong side. Yes?
Yes.
What happens when it disappears is it goes behind. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to call up the video. We'll watch the video and then we will work through and do this together. Okay.
All right.
Yay. Where's the video?
Need popcorn.
Yes. Oh, that's what I should do. I should provide popcorn for this. All right, here's the video. Yes.
So the next thing was, I said I was going to show you how to take those threads to the back side of the cloth, make them completely disappear by hiding them at the back side of the cloth. So this is how I do it. Here is my chart, and you'll see on row 22 and 23, those contrasting colored squares sit lower than the rest of them. That means they're behind. They go to the back side of the cloth. This is how I do that. We begin on a plate row. I work a right edge stitch, then 3 plain stitches. And this brings me to the place where I should have this 2 colored stitch. I don't have a white partner for the white thread. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold that white thread out of the way, pick it up with my thumb, just like this, and I'm going to work the contrasting colored threads. I work them all together. There's 4 of them. I pick up the back 2 threads, and I put the front 2 threads down. And they're worked behind that white thread that I held up with my thumb. One of my students dubbed this the hitchhike stitch because it involves sticking out your thumb. That white thread went in front of the contrasting colored threads, and I now use it on this side of the contrasting colored threads to make a stitch. And you can see how that white stitch sits in front of the contrasting colored threads, which are now at the back of the cloth. I've finished the row working regular stitches, and there we are. We've got a background colored stitch crossing in front of the contrasting colored threads. So let's look at the next row. Row 23 is an overplate row. I begin by working 4 plain stitches, and then I'm here with this situation. We have a white thread that doesn't have a partner. What I'm going to do is hitchhike this white thread, keep it out of the way. While I work the contrasting colored threads, I'm going to work 2 plain stitches on those contrasting colored threads behind this white thread, which I'm going to hitchhike. Then that white thread, the background colored thread, makes a stitch in front of the contrasting colored threads. The contrasting colored stitches are staying at the back side of the cloth. I then work to the end of the row, plain stitches all the way across.
Okay.
So that's how I put those threads to the back of the cloth. What's it look like at the back side? Well, here it is. And now you'll want to know how to reintegrate those threads.
Okay, but let's stop. Let's stop right there. Stop right there, and let's
All right.
do this. Let's
Disappear them.
disappear them. Yes, yes, yes. This handout here, I think, takes you step by step, row by row, stitch by stitch, how this all works. But we're going to jump to the chart. And what I'm hoping to do, okay, let's see. It starts off the vertical line, then the diamond, and I'm thinking, are we at, you know what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Row 7 or row 3. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plain stitches, then 2, then 4, On row 7, once again, we've got the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then 2. We're going to start here on row 7, which is the same as row 3. We've got 5 plain stitches, 2 contrasting, 4, 2 contrasting, 5. You agree? That's what we've got on our frame. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. We're going to start right there, and we're going to work what on the chart here is row 8, bringing those to the back. Okay. So let's see. Let me put my thing here so I can keep track of where we're at. I'll bring this in, zoom in, and we have to be on screen here with the, okay.
Looks good.
All right. We start with this right edge stitch. You can bring them to the back on a plate row or over plate row. It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. This can happen on either plate or over plate row. Happens that this is a plate row. Move them to the back, but all right. That edge stitch, and then 1, 2, 3 stitches, and then we have 1 background colored thread left over. And what we're going to do is we're going to kind of reserve him. There's a student talked about this as a hitchhike stitch. Take your thumb, stick your thumb out to keep that thread out of the way. And then we're going to work a double stitch. Pick up 2, put 2 down. Is that clear enough?
Yes.
And then the double stitch is in this hand. He's finished.
Yes.
And this thread has not been done yet.
Correct.
So we're going to bring him across in front because he hasn't been done yet. And he's going to find a partner over here.
All right.
Got put down.
And
And
off
that's
we
a
go.
regular stitch. Yes. And then we work
Yep.
regular until once again, we're up against those contrasting colored stitches. And once again, we're going to do this hitchhike, pick up and put down. And then this contrasting colored thread, the hitchhiked thread, comes across in front, and he finds his partner over here on this side, and we work to the end. Is that clear?
We're there.
Yay! Hooray, hooray. Okay, excellent. And then, okay, so then what happens is we've got that 1 contrasting colored thread coming across in front. And I should have, that yellow is not enough contrast. I should have, bad choice of threads here.
It's fine. I can see it just fine.
Okay, all right. Okay, the next row, on the next row, we're carrying on working behind. Yes, we've got 4, then 4 plain stitches, and then there's 2 stitches at the back side. So we let 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this thread here that doesn't have a partner, we're going to hitchhike him up so that he can help keep out of the way while we work. And we're going to work 2 plain stitches on these background colored threads, color B, and then a stitch with color C.
Mm-hmm.
And then that thread that hitchhiked, he
And
comes
it's back in
across
motion.
and he finds his partner on the other side.
Okay.
And we work, and do that again. Hitchhike the background colored thread while we work 2 stitches, color B and then color C. Then the hitchhiked thread comes across everybody in front, and then we work, he finds his partner on the other side.
We're good.
Yay! Okay, now I'm realizing I worked these patterns, a number of these things for the year of twining. And the people who were proofreading my things said, this is called, she didn't like the hitchhike thing because that's how you do it, how you hold. She calls this a cover stitch. And she wanted me to put in a little line here and a little thing here. And then this is called a cover stitch. So if you follow this, the year of twining, when we get to this is called a cover stitch, and there's a notation that makes it clear, and I'm going to have to upgrade these patterns. This, it talks about this thread here goes over there, and we have a cover stitch, is what she calls it, which maybe makes that all more clear how that happens. All right, language. All right, so now the next thing is how do we bring this back into circulation? And you'll notice that these contrasting colored threads have kind of migrated. They've moved over. And indeed, on this chart here, we have 1 set of diamonds here, and the next set of diamonds is off center. And to bring it back to center is sometimes a dicey sort of maneuver. And what I do is I put in what I call a reset or rearrange row. And this is a row that I put in there. Okay, and now the other thing is they've told me not to have these little stitch lines. Those stitch lines are kind of confusing. That row in what you will see on the year of twining, this reset row doesn't have these little dashes because they're not stitches. What we're going to do is we reset where those threads sit. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
So that things are properly lined up. So if we would do this reset here, that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I want to have 1, 2, 3, 4, and these I'm going to have to move over. I want to have this stitch, the 5th stitch. Let's see. So we have to have extra fingers. I'm going to have a finger come around behind, and maybe slide in here so that I can move this stitch over. You see? And then we want 1, 2, 3, I want 4. So let's see if I put this finger in here and then this finger comes around to take those. There we are. To reset the row. Oh, it seems to me I must have made a video of that. I'll have to find, that's what I should have been running today. But anyhow, now what I did, you see how I reset that row? I have
I'm sorry.
rearranged. Do that again?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Because I was trying to watch it and do it at the same time. And
Oh, I see.
I shouldn't do that.
Okay. All right. All right. Let's see. Let's put them back where they were, and then I will redo it again. All right.
So in our hand, even though the threads are on the back, we should be holding the colored threads, right?
You want to be holding the colored threads. When we finish this row here, row 9, you worked 1, 2, 3, 4 background colored stitches. I worked these 2 contrasting colored stitches, and this stitch hitchhiked came over the front, found his partner on the other side.
Yeah.
And then I worked 1, 2, 3, and then there was a thread that hitchhiked over to the other side while I worked the background colored, and then he found his partner on this side. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches to the end of the row. But now if we want to have things centered
So I
again,
have 6 at the end.
yes, you do. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, okay, okay, okay,
That's correct.
okay.
That's correct. And what
right.
I'm saying is the challenge is, so now when we work that diamond is going to be kind of off-centered.
Okay.
And if you, this gets to be a problem, working things at the back, they tend to migrate off-center. They kind of,
Yes.
or as you do the chart.
Okay.
You can,
Then
you
I'm
yeah.
good.
Yeah, all right. So what I do is I reset or rearrange the row. And what that would be is we want to have 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to have this fifth stitch come over to this side. And what I would do is I'd have some fingers here at the back side. This middle finger maybe slides in. It's going to slide behind this stitch and come into the contrasting colored threads.
Mm-hmm.
So I can take the background colored stitch, move him over the front into the group that he needs to be with. So we have now 5 here, and then I've got the contrasting ones.
Okay.
All right, and then I have 1, 2, 3, but I'm wanting 4. And that fourth one, coming over this side, there he is. But now these, okay, so I'm going to take my finger around to the back side. I've got the background colored thread here, and these two I'm going to come around and grab here.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Whew. Okay, now let's check once again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. And these two, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep.
Yep.
And those two, and then okay. And then what we do is you're just going to work just like regular, because then it's going to be set up. And you just forget that they're sitting behind. We're just going to work and reintegrate them, huh? But let's watch the video. I think the video talks about that. Just has them just come back in again. Oops, Carol, you have to hit share screen. Okay, share screen. Here we are. So
You'll want to know how to reintegrate those threads. How do I bring them back into the regular part of the cloth? Well, let's see. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 background colored stitches over here, and I've got 6 over there. And I'm wanting these contrasting colored threads smack dab in the middle. So I'm going to take a minute. This is what I call a reset. I'm going to just move them over horizontally. So I've got them in the proper position. And on my chart, I call this reset. Notice on the chart, between row 23 and 24, looks like another row. And it's marked the reset row. And the only thing that happens on that row is that those contrasting colored stitches move 1 stitch to the left. That's what I just now did. So now I can work this row 24 exactly the same way as I worked row 16. I'll just pretend that those contrasting colored threads are, as they should be, properly integrated in the row. I begin with a right edge stitch, 3 plain stitches, and then here I want to avoid a 2-colored stitch. So that white thread is going to be a traveler thread, and I'm going to work a contrasting colored twine right stitch around it. Then the traveler needs a friend, and we do a stitch where the traveler meets the friend, just like that. And then we have a twine left stitch. And I finish the row just like regular. And there you see, we're starting another diamond, just like this one up here. For more information and
blah,
other
blah, blah. Okay, so clear as mud.
Yeah, somehow I made a lace stitch.
A late stitch.
Lace.
Oh, lace. Made a hole.
So I don't think I carried on the second row, I didn't carry over on the first. I didn't carry over correctly, is what I didn't do.
You have a safety line?
I do, but I got
Carry-
so excited, it's 2 rows back.
Carry over, you mean the cover stitch? The
Yeah,
spiked thing? Oh,
yeah.
okay. All right.
That's
Well,
okay. That's why we're here.
That's why we're here. That's why we're here. Yes.
And everybody else can see my mistake and go, ah.
I'll tell you what. Okay, so let's can I spotlight you?
Oh, in just a second. I'm taking out.
Oh, well, then we can't see it if you take it out.
Oh, sure. Go ahead and spotlight. I haven't taken it all the way out yet.
Okay.
So this is the back of the loom. So this is actually the first few stitches, and I forgot to, or I didn't carry it over properly. So I have this gap between the front panel and the second colored twine stitches. And then it picks up just fine again. And I did it correctly on this when I came to the second set.
Okay, so you must have picked up one, put two down, and
Or
then picked up
something.
two from one down.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, all righty. But that's all right. You know what? There's no weaving police. It's totally all right. It's totally all right. There's no
It's educational and it's fun,
that's
you
it.
know?
Yes, yes, yes. There's nobody gonna come and arrest you. You don't get any COVID symptoms from any of this. It's totally all right. It's totally all right. And you know, you can practice this over and over again. I
Yeah.
have you set up a short little warp, narrow warp, not too many threads, so that you can practice this and get good at it. Right. Okay, we're gonna go back to trying to do this diamond here.
Yeah, it's hard to undo.
Yeah, it doesn't.
That's
People think
okay.
it'll just kind of oing undo, and it takes a little bit of encouragement to get them to.
Yeah, and I'm using a sticky wool, so.
Yes, sticky threads are like that. Let's see.
All right.
All right. I'm going to work this row 16 here, which is the start of a diamond. Down there, you see?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're ready to try this.
I need to hide my threads again.
Oh, you need to hide your threads.
I
Oh,
do.
okay. Oh, all right. Well, we can do that again. All right. So what you did is you got them to go behind successfully.
Yes. Yes.
And then what you're wanting to do is order them.
Right. So do you actually stitch or do you just move things around?
You just move them around.
Okay,
Now,
so no
what I
stitching.
need to do is I need to do that. Work it at the back. I need to get mine to the back now. And I hitchhike and I do this double stitch. And then this is the partner. I need to get mine at the back. Whoop, 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 whoop. And then this is what you just now did.
Yes.
And you had them at the back, but they've kind of drifted over to the right just a little bit.
Right. Correct. To the right.
And then let's see, hitchhike this one, work, work. And then this comes in front. And all right, this reset row, on this reset row, we're not going to do stitches.
Okay.
On the reset row, rearrange. What I need to have, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 background colored stitches, and I need 5. So what I'm going to do is I need to reach over this background colored stitch. Needs to come around in front of these contrasting. Let's see, let's get this out of the way so we can see this better. Okay, I've only got 4 and I need 5. I need this stitch. I don't do a stitch. I'm just going to take these threads front and back over to this side, which means I need extra fingers. This comes around to the behind side like this. Yes. And I move it over. So now I have 5 contrasting colored stitches in this hand and these 2 there.
So I keep doing mine in the middle. I want to do them both over, right?
What do you mean in the middle? Let me highlight you. Let me spotlight you so I can see what's going on. Okay.
So I'm keeping these threads to the back, right?
Correct. But you need to keep
Okay.
the shed, the front back. Keep track of that.
Yeah,
You're going to
we're
move
there.
one white pair of threads in front of that over to the other side.
Okay.
And then those two are to the left. So you have
And
five,
then
you now have 5 background colored stitches and then 2 contrasting colored stitches. Is that correct?
correct.
Okay, all right. Then
And now I have
3, move those 3 background colored stitches over. 1, 2, 3 into your right hand now takes those 3 background colored stitches. You just take the stitches into your hand. And then you reach around to get the 4th one. You want me to show you how I do that?
1, 2,
Now wait. Now I'm seeing that you have a lace stitch there. Hang on a second. You have 2 up, 1 down. There's a stitch that isn't done there.
I've probably
Find
dropped
your
it.
shed. Start over again. Go back to your safety line.
Okay.
Okay. Now you have 4 background colored stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4.
2, 4.
Okay.
2, 4.
Okay. Now reach in front. You have to reach in front of those contrasting colored stitches to get 1 background colored stitch over to the other side.
From the top
Come around in front. Yeah.
and another one from the bottom.
Hang on. Let's see. Let's watch my hands here. There's a front thread and a back thread.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I already moved it over. Let me come down to my safety line. Okay. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's these 2. Okay. What I'm gonna do is 1, 2, 3, 4. These 2. I'm gonna come around behind, and these fingers here are gonna take these 2 out of and hold them out. Hold them back.
In the back. Got it. Okay.
And then I can take 1 stitch front and back into this hand. That's maybe a better way of doing it.
All right. I've got them.
And now I can bring these 2 back into circulation.
Got it.
Is that a better way of doing it?
Yeah. Reaching around behind really helped.
Okay. Okay, then I've got 1, 2, 3. And now let's see, wait a minute, these 2 here, contrasting colored ones. My finger here is going to reach around behind. This middle finger is going to come around behind, and he's going to take these 2 to the very back. And then I can take 1 stitch across.
And bring them back again.
And bring them, reintegrate. And then my index
All
finger
right.
can go all the way across. So now we've got them properly lined up. Yes? 1,
Yes.
2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's a better way of explaining it. Yeah. These 2, then 4, then these 2, which is the way I did it in the video. I don't know why I'm making it so much more complicated.
2,
Okay.
4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. I keep bringing the top thread over. I mean, the bottom thread over is the top thread, but that's easy to
Well,
fix.
no, that's correct. Both of them are over on this other side.
Yeah.
That's okay.
4, 5, 4, and 5. Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then these 2 stitches are at the back.
Yep.
And 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yep.
And then these 2 are at the back.
Yep.
And then we have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes.
We're there.
That reset thing is a little bit of a dicey maneuver, but I find we do need to do that when we're taking things to the backside, bringing them back to the front. Working them at the backside, they tend to drift, or off center. And frequently that kind of thing happens. As you can guess here, these yellow threads are here, and then they need to come up over here, that you see how that happens. That reset is really important at this here to, drag them all the way across. So that's a maneuver you need to know how to do. Okay, And then we do this diamond again, and you just pretend that they're all lined up as, you know, in order, like regular. So we're going to do this row right here, just to be sure we know what we're doing. It starts with this right edge stitch, and then we work 3 plain stitches. 1, 2, 3. And then this is a twining, and then the traveler meets a friend. Yeah. So it's twine to the right. So this goes into traveler position. So we can see this thread goes into traveler. We work 1 stitch, twining to the right. Then the traveler needs a friend. So we go over to here to find him and his friend. Traveler meets a friend stitch, and then a twine left stitch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and we do that again. We're going to work a traveler stitch, twine to the right. Then the traveler needs a friend. Over here, find the friend. And then to the end of the row. There we go. Yes, excellent. Okay.
Oops, I twisted one of my color threads. I'm going to go back 2 stitches. You go there, you come here. I just fetched a friend.
Hooray.
The last twining stitch and to the end.
Yay. Now I want to look here and see. I'm thinking I should have had this year of twining. I've gone through all these instructions, and I had people proofread. And one of the things that people were saying was, when we do this twine right, twine left, it needs to be kind of shaded in so you can see this thread comes here and the stitch that is made is kind of shaded in as well. So the twine, this is fetch a friend, how that works. That gets shaded in. I should post it because it makes it more clear. And then the hitchhike stitch, she calls it a cover stitch. Debbie wanted me to change the name of it, call it a cover stitch instead of hitchhike. And it has a different color line, and then that stitch that you make, the stitch that goes in front, that one thread, and then his friend is colored in like this. Does that make sense? Is that more clear?
It doesn't really matter to me.
Doesn't matter to you? Okay, then the
either way.
The reset row, she didn't want to have those stitch markers in there because you were asking, does it do stitches? No, reset, we just move threads over.
Right.
Yeah, I need to integrate this into that handout that you may have printed out already, because supposedly this is more clear after, running it through a couple people who I always have comments on how I run my charts. Whatever makes it more clear. Okay. All right. Yes, to be clear on how the instructions work. All right.
All right.
So, we have talked about a number of things, how to move lines to the left, how to move them right, as well as how to do the stitches, as well as how I write the instructions, what the lingo is and what the lingo means, and then charts. And some people like just the written instructions, which I abbreviate, and then other people would prefer to have the chart. Now, the other thing I didn't talk about is the notation that I use. Line right, TWR, TWL, those kind of things, which I can pull up from the notation that I use.
I'm super nearsighted, so I have to read something. I have to like take my glasses off and get into it.
Oh, I
So
see.
I actually find that I tend to just memorize things and then do them, so I don't have to constantly change my field of focus.
Okay, back and forth. Okay, all
Yeah.
right. Okay, all right. Well, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. But I do want to for the people watching the video who might want to know, Okay, so let me do share screen to just quickly, for people who are listening to this on the video, the handout for how this works, putting things behind to the back side. It tells you we start off with this kind of a warp. It shows you how it works and how what the backside looks like. This is what we're going to end up with, that warp, and how working regular, you get this little bit of a jog. But then we make the diamond first, and you know how to do that. How the diamond widens, fetch a friend, and the traveler, and traveler meets a friend stitch. But the interesting part here is when we work that stitch at the back, you take that thread off to the side. It's a hitchhike, what I call the hitchhike maneuver. We work at the back, and then that thread comes across the front. You work that stitch on the other side. So the yellow stitches are at the back. So it's happened here. And the second row, and then that reset row. This is my abbreviations. We have ATB is at the back, C is the cover stitch, D double stitch, and so on. And when I write these out as a chart, because otherwise it gets to be just too many words, I write a chart like this. Row 1 is 18 plain. Row 2 is, we're working always from right to left. You start with a right edge stitch, 15 plain, and then a left edge. If you're left-handed, you're going to work the left edge stitch, 15 plain, right edge. You're working left to right, you work this direction. But now this moving the threads to the right to the left. I do have left-handed version here in green. You're working, and the difference is the direction of the traveler or fetch friend. But this is my abbreviated thing. Right edge stitch, plain stitch, twine to the right. This traveler meets a friend, twine left, that kind of thing. And the difference would be like on this row 5, where we have twine right traveler, and in row 5 it's a twine to the right fetch friend. Does that make sense? For left-handed, just pay attention to the one that you want. And right-handed people, you start on this side and you work towards the left. Work in the direction of work. Read the chart in the direction that you're working is what I want you to do. And I think this is a more clear version. And what I need to do is post this to that web page, the updated version, as commented by people who did the proofreading for the Year of Twining. Okay. That's what I wanted to show you in this class. So now it's just practicing it, seeing how that works, working through. Now that you know, have the secret and what how to work the stitches,
and seeing all the little fingery things.
Yeah. I understand how important that is, which is why I'm doing these classes. All righty. So there you go. There you go. Now the other thing, if I can do some blatant self-promotion. This business about having 2 layers of things. The next stage of that is what we call double cloth. And double cloth opens up a whole other world where you can do all kinds of designs. If you have 2 layers of threads, one is one color, the other is the other color, and you can pull through to the front, one at a time or whatever. The kind of designs that you can do, that is huge. And that is a class that I teach in. It's called double cloth. And it builds on this idea of how you have threads going to the back, bringing them back, returning them to the front. I hesitated to teach this for a long time because Peter Collingwood, I never met the man, but people who had taken classes from him, 2 people sent me this little bit of creative writing by Peter Collingwood, which talks about what a nightmare it is to try to teach this technique. But I think he was maybe teaching people who weren't properly prepared. But let me go and pull out my double cloth samples. It's a really exciting technique. It's not that complicated.
Once you know how to do it.
Once you know how to do it. Like a lot of things, it takes a lot of words to describe, to tell you how to do it, but it's a really cool technique. You know what? Let me walk across the room and get my sample. Sure. Try to show you. So I have done a number of things. Okay, Carol, now what we have to do is replace spotlight. Okay, so what this is, it starts off with 2 colors of loops, white loop, white, blue, alternating. And then we bring all the white loops to the front, white stitches to the front, and the blue ones to the back. And then we can selectively bring either the white stitch or the blue stitch to the front. And then the kind of designs that you can do are, without limit. You can do all kinds of fancy designs. And
Mm.
the one side is the complete reverse of the other side. There was a headband. Where did that headband get to? Wandered off. Hang on a minute. I have done a number of designs. Famously these leggings, double cloth, spring leggings. So, designs that you do with 2 different colors. What happened here? You can do all kinds of amazing designs with 2. One is a mirror reverse of the other.
Right.
Once you know how to do this technique, you have, so here we have white and blue, white and red, green and beige, green and yellow. And on the flip side, you see it's the other design.
Can I see the top where the loops are?
Okay, not this one. This one here, I added on. I did a supplementary warp. This is what I did with the leggings. So I'm adding on, but here, the loops at the top, we have a white loop and then a blue loop and then a white loop and then a blue loop. And I show you how to set up this kind of 2-colored warp.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll start off by having a thing that alternates colors. And then in the class, I show you how to bring color A to the front, and that means color B is at the back. And then we bring color B to the front, and color A is at the back. And then we work a chart where, some rows have both A and B. And depending on what kind of design. Yeah. Okay. Now somewhere I had a little headband that had 2 different colors, and that's supposed to be in the bag with these other things, and it seems to have wandered off. But there's all kinds of designs that you can do. Okay, here we have the loops, all those different colored loops.
Ah, yeah.
2 colors of loops at the end. You warp with 2 threads.
Right.
And then you sort them out on the first row or 2. Okay?
Yeah, cool.
Cloth on double cloth, which is coming up, I think next week. But we might
next week.
We might put it off one more week, just to give people time to know what that is. Think to digest this twining and this moving threads to the back side, what this is, and then perhaps I can entice 1 or 2 more people to sign up for this double cloth class, because this is really,
I think that sounds grand.
it really is. And then your potential for patterns is just, it all of a sudden, it's without limit what kind of designs you can do. Any kind of design, if it can be done, intact little pixels, you can do.
Right.
Yeah. Because then I show you how to do the stitch, and then how we chart, how you can make up your own little chart for this, the 2 layers, which color is at the front, and that means the other color is at the back. Yay. And
Yeah.
it's a very powerful technique, very powerful, not that complicated. People say that it is less complicated than the S&Z kind of thing. I think it's just a matter of having it explained clearly, having had the proper preparation for it. And if you can do this twining, you can do the double cloth. Yeah. Okay.
That's yeah. There's just much to spring.
There is so much to spraying. People think, oh, it's those chunky little hairnets or little bags. But the fact of the matter is, when you teach a person how to knit, mostly you'll start having them make a little square, a little dish rag or something. No one judges knitting by dish rags.
Right.
Dish rags that have Girl Scouts do. But
Right.
people look on the internet for spraying, and what they see is beginner spraying, and they think that's the extent of it. But spraying is as varied and as adaptable as knitting. Indeed, any garment you can imagine knitting today has been done in ancient times using the spraying technique.
Well, I've seen a lot of spraying patterns converted to knitting patterns for modern knitters. And
Well,
I thought, I want to know the original.
Well, you know what? That's exactly what I've been doing. That's exactly what I have been doing. That I've done a lot of lace patterns. I had have I told you about this? I had the opportunity I met this Dutch woman, told me about,
Right.
she had been repairing Dutch spraying sashes. And then there was this exhibition of Dutch sashes. And this is the catalog from that exhibition that she gave to me. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to go chart out these patterns. And it wasn't until COVID happened that I had that opportunity to go through and chart out all these patterns. So I've charted out all those patterns, and that is this book that is called Dutch Sash Patterns.
And is that on the Taproot?
Yes, you can get it as a downloadable PDF from Taproot. That's what Taproot does for me. It allows me to do PDF kinds of things. But you can also order the physical book. Some people want the physical
from
book.
your website, right?
Yes, yes. And it has all those charts, all those patterns. If you know how to do right edge stitch, left edge stitch, double stitch, you can do all of these. And that's what this is. Then I've gone through a couple other collections. Notably, there was a collection of lace at the Art and History Museum in Brussels, Belgium. And I have been working my way. I visited that collection in 2013. And I've been slugging my way through. I think that's going to be 5 volumes to have them reasonable size. Volume 1 has already come out, and it has a number of these lace patterns. Volume 2 and 3 should be coming out, I'm hoping, within the next month or two. Yes, that's lace patterns. And yes, I've seen a lot of knitting patterns that try to imitate the lace, spraying lace. But then there's a whole category of these kind of designs. There's a surface design sorts of things with S and Z. What I haven't yet got around to publishing is alphabet letters, which you can do in lace or with the surface design S and Z. There's so much to spraying. There is so much to spraying. People don't realize it is as adaptable, as varied as knitting. There's a lot to it. Yeah. And we've hardly scratched the surface here, but anyhow.
Right.
Thanks for letting me expound on this. I'm very excited about the technique, and I'm so glad that there's other people too interested. Yay.
All right, so I'm going to go through the work we did today, do the next project that's on the website, and I love double weaving. I think it's like magic, so I'm guessing that the spraying is really similar.
Yes.
So in spraying, can you do, like in weaving on the loom, you can do like 2 layers of cloth that are separate? Can the spraying do that too?
Yes, exactly. Yes, 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 yes. That's exactly.
All right.
And it can end
I'm
up
in.
as, it can end up as 2 completely separate pieces that you've done at the same time. As you can knit 2 socks at the same time. And what you're doing is you're knitting one sock and then the other one and one and the other one, and you have to be careful not to cross the threads. That's the same thing with spraying. Yes.
All
And
right,
where
sounds
you have
good.
the stitch from the other side come through, that's the design, the patterning that we will talk about in this double cloth class. Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
So is it next week or the week after, and when will you know for sure?
Let me decide right now. Let's see.
No pressure.
Right now it's on my calendar for the 22nd. No, for the 29th. For the 29th. But you know what? I'm thinking that I am hereby for sure moving it to the 5th of February.
I'll
I'm not-
give everyone who's watching this video a
Time.
chance to, yeah.
Yes, there is one woman who has signed up, and we've been emailing back and forth, and I will write to her and tell her, but this means I need to change it all on the website and make sure that all the publicity is for the 5th of February. 2 in the afternoon on February 5th, 2024. Yes,
All right.
I'm hereby officially doing that.
And you
Okay.
can do that because it's your class.
It's me. Yeah. I just have to tell my daughter what to do. Yes. All righty.
Okay.
Try this out and let me know if you get snagged up, and I'm happy to help you out, but I think you've got what you need to succeed with this. Cool.
I just need to practice the fingers.
And you have all what you need to do this whole year of spring twining as well. There's a
Right.
whole set-
That's in February, I figure. I wanted
Okay.
to do the class and do some work,
Yes.
and so
Yes.
at least I knew what people were talking about.
Exactly. I totally understand. All righty. Excellent.
All right. Well, we'll see you again soon.
Okay. Bye-bye. And bye-bye to
Okay,
all the people online. I hope you have as much.
Goodbye, people online.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Carol.
You're welcome.